Om Sai Ram. Let us understand chapter number 33, the power of the Udi. But before that, let us do the Namasmaran followed by chapter number 33, and then we will conclude chapter number 33 with the Aarti. Shri Sachidanand Satguru Sainath Maharaj ki jai. Om Shri Sai Nathaya Namah. 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 Om Sai Ram. Chapter number 33, the power of Udi. I bow down to Shri Ganesh. I bow down to Shri Saraswati. I bow down to the Guru. I bow down to the family deity. I bow down to Shri Sita Ramachandra. I bow down to Shri Satguru Sainath. Now I bow down to the saints and the virtuous. Their meaningful glances immediately burn mountains of sins and wash away impurities of the Kali Yuga. Their heaps of obligation cannot be repaid in this birth, nor many future births. Their casual talks are full of valuable lessons for their welfare and concord imperishable happiness. Their minds do not know any difference between this is ours and that is yours. Such worldly differentiation never arises in their mind. In the previous chapter, the Guru's greatness was described to some extent. Now, in this chapter, listeners will hear of the importance of Udi. Baba repeatedly asked and took dakshina from which he did charity, helping the poor and needy. From the balance, he purchased a lot of firewood which he piled in heaps. He offered the dry wood as an oblation in the dhuni in front of him. The ashes from the burnt wood, which were considerable, were distributed to the devotees. At the time of departure from Shirdi, while seeking leave from Baba, it was customary to give Udi. All devotees knew this. In fact, when Baba asked for Udi to be brought, it was felt that it was really the permission granted to leave, and they felt happy to return home. Also, when one is residing in Shirdi, Baba did not give Udi to anyone in the afternoon, morning, or evening. One was sent back empty handed. This was the daily routine. But what was the significance of the Udi for which Dhuni was kept alight perpetually in the masjid? Why was it done daily? What did Baba hint at or have in his mind when giving the Vibhuti? All this visible phenomena is the universe is as transient as the ashes. Bear this definitely in mind. The body itself, like that dry wood, is made up of five elements and remains to endure life. When the span of life is over, it falls dead and will be certainly reduced to ashes. You and I will undergo the same stages so that you would remember this, and I should also be aware of it day and night. I give the Vibhuti. The entire universe is full of Maya. Brahman is the only reality, while the universe is illusionary. Bear in mind this, and this is what the Udi teaches. No person belongs to anyone in this world, be it their wife, son, uncle, or nephews. Naked you come and naked you go. You will return. The Udi is a reminder of it. If the Udi is applied to the body, then physical and mental sufferings are cured. But the true significance of Udi is deep, and it meant of discriminatory detachment. Giving as much as possible as dakshina develops a tendency towards detachment. Later on, one is able to gradually know what detachment is. requires detachment. If it is not accompanied by direction, it is useless. Therefore, honor the Vibhuti to bring together discrimination and detachment. Both Udi and Dakshina were linked. Unless we have both at the same time, it is very difficult to cross over the river of existence. The young and the old came for darshan and humbled themselves at Baba's feet. Whenever they returned, Baba gave them vibhuti. The dhuni was kept alight regularly in the masjid. It burned day in and day out throughout the year. Baba gave a handful of ashes from it while bidding farewell. He gave the ashes as prasad, smeared it with his thumb on his forehead, and together with it placed his hand on his head, wishing for the well-being of the devotees. Ashes, vibhuti, and udi are three words with the same meaning. This was the prasad distributed daily in unlimited quantity by Baba. This world is like the udi. This is the real importance of udi. Bear in mind, and you will realize it one day. Like the drops of water on the petals of a lotus, this evanescent body will fall. Therefore, abandon all pride in it. The giving of Udi showed this. This expanse of the whole universe is like a rangoli design drawn with ashes. Think about the illusionary nature of the world, and the reality abides only in the Udi. Udi is only dust. All existence which has name and form ultimately reaches the same state. Whatever changes are observed in the world, they are only for namesake. This is experience from never changing qualities of dust. When Baba was in a joyful mood, he used to sing. The listeners used to hear with respect and interesting snatch from one of his songs. "O playful Ram has come and brought sacks of udi," were the two lines that he sang whenever he was in a happy and joyous mood. He sang this refrain repeatedly in a melodious voice. In brief, how many sacks full of udi was this dhuni produced? None is capable of counting them. This udi is supremely beneficial. After listening to the deep purport in giving Udi and its spiritual and devotional significance, the listeners want to know its effect on purely world matters of health and prosperity. Udi has this quality also. Otherwise, how would the importance increase? Sai is proficient in showing the path of salvation. After helping the devotees in mundane matters, he leads them to spiritual progress. These are innumerable stories which in which Udi benefited the people for their health and prosperity. Be mindful of the length of this book. I shall briefly narrate a few. Once there lived in Nasik a Brahmin called Narayan Motiram, whose surname was Jani. Similarly, there was another devotee of Baba called Ramachandra Vaman Modak. This Narayan Rao was in his service and was also a faithful devotee of Baba. When Baba was in the body, Narayan Rao went to Shirdi with his mother for Baba's darshan. At that time, Baba suggested to her that the time has come for her son to cease serving others. Now, this connection is only with me. Enough of this servility. It is better to have one's own business. Later on, after a short while, God was merciful to him. His dependence on the job ended and he began to enjoy his freedom. He established a boarding and lodging place of his own. He named it Anadhashram, worked hard for it, and soon turned it into a flourishing business which gave him satisfaction. Seeing how things transpired, his faith in Sai increased and later grew to firm devotion, which was confirmed by experience. The truth of Sai's words was experienced. The listeners got another story and their love for Sai increased. Inexplicable are the deeds of Sai. Sai is always spoke in the first person, but it always meant for someone else. For those who observed him carefully, it was a regular experience. Later, as he got more experiences, the grandeur of Narayan Rao's devotion and love increased. Listen to one more novel experience of his with devotion. Enough. One day, a friend of Narayan Rao was stung by a scorpion all of a sudden and suffered intense and unbearable pain. Baba's Udi was very efficacious if applied on the seat of pain, but though Narayan Rao searched for it, he was unable to find any. His friend was unable to bear the agony and Udi could not be found anywhere. So he took darshan of Baba's picture and prayed fervently to Baba. Just then, near the picture, the ash from the joystick, which had been burnt earlier before, was lying, and he treated it as Udi only, taking a pinch from it and chanting Science name. He smeared it where his friend was stung. The experience matched the faith. It will be great marvel to hear that no sooner than the ash was applied with the finger that the pain disappeared as quickly as it had come, and both were choked with love. At least in this case, it was ash from the joystick which was applied to one who was in pain. But even if the dust from the road is applied, treating it as if it were Udi, it grants the same experience. The application of this dust not only to an ailing person or to someone deceased, but to anyone else is also beneficial. Once the daughter of a devotee was suffering from plague. When this news reached her father suddenly from another village, he was worried. The father lived in Bandra while the daughter lived in another village. He had no stock of Udi with him, so he sent a message to Nana. Kindly pray to Baba to remove my anxiety. He requested Chandolkar and asked him to send Udi as prasad. The messenger met Nana on the way as he was going to Kalyan with his wife at that time. Nana received this message at Thane near the village station. He found no Udi with him. He picked up a little dust from the ground. Standing there on the road, invoked Sai Samartha and turning around applied a pinch on to his own wife's forehead. On the other hand, the devotee left for the village where his daughter lived. There he was very happy when he received joyful tidings. The girl had suffered from a very high fever for 3 days. She had been shattered by suffering. But since a day earlier she was a little comfortable, enquiries revealed that the recovery began at the same time that Nana had pleaded before Sai and applied the dust as Udi on his wife's forehead. Enough of the story about the illness. At the opportune time, it will be related in detail. This was an anecdote concerning the Udi. Sai, ever ready to work for the welfare of his devotees, performed a miracle when this very same loving Chandolkar was the Mamaldar at Jamner. Listen to it. The greatness of this Udi is beyond limits. If the listeners are willing, I shall narrate another miracle which will astound them. Nana's daughter, who was in labor, was in intense pain, and from Jamner, Sai Samartha was being invoked constantly. No one in Shirdi was aware of the state of affairs at Jamner. Baba, however, knows everything and is all pervading. There is nothing in the universe that he is unaware of. Baba was with one of his devotees. Realizing the circumstance of Nana's home, Sai Samartha's heart overflowed with compassion. See what he did immediately. He thought of sending Udi at that same time. Gosavi Ramgir Bua had an urge to go to his village. His village was in Khandesh. He made all preparations to leave and came to the masjid to make darshan and be at Baba's feet. From no one, for no one in Shirdi left for any work without touching Baba's feet and obtaining his permission as long as he was in body, whether it was a wedding or a thread ceremony or any auspicious functions as per Shastric rituals or any other work or any intention to perform some work, Baba's permission was necessary. Everyone was firmly convinced that without his wholehearted permission, prasad of Udi and blessings, no function proceeded smoothly. This being the custom of the village, Ramgir came in accordance with it, touched Baba's feet, and asked permission to leave. He said, Baba, I'm going to my village in Kandesh. Give me Udi and blessings and your permission to be the servant to leave. Baba affectionately called him by the name Bapu gave. He replied, Go happily to your village, but rest a while on the way. Go first to Jamner and stay at Nana's home. After inquiring about his well being, then proceed further. Then he said to Madhavrao Deshpande, Shama, make a copy on a piece of paper of that Arti of Adkar and send it to Nana with the Gosavi. Then he gave Udi to Gosavi and made a small packet of it and placing it in his hand, told him to give it to Nana. Take both the Udi and the Arti and give it to Nana. Enquire after his well being and proceed and go to the village. He said, This Arti Sai Baba is like Dhyaneshwar's Arti, composed by Rama Janardhan. They both have the same tune. Rama Janardhan was a devotee of Swami Janardhan, while Madhav Alkar was a devotee to Sai's faith. This was inspired by composition, and without it, Sai's worship is incomplete. As Baba liked this Aarti very much, listeners should listen to this Aarti from the beginning to the end, which Baba sent with the Udi. Later, you will realize the fruits of it. Om Saira Aarti. Refrain. We do the Aarti to Sai Baba, the giver of happiness. Give refuge to the downtrodden and to your devotees who are at your lotus feet. We do Aarti to you, Sai Baba. Burn up the desires to those engrossed in self. Teach them to obtain moksha. Let them see Lord Sri Rang with their own eyes. Lord Sri Rang, we do Aarti. You grant suitable experience to everyone in accordance to their faith and devotion. O merciful one, such is your own way. Your own way. We do arti. Meditation upon your name removes all worldly sufferings of all. Unfathomable is your action. Show the path to the unfortunate ones. Show the unfortunate ones. We do arti. In the age of Kali Yuga, you are the true Brahma avatar that has taken form and descended on this earth. You are also Swami Datta Digambar. Datta Digambar, we do Aarti. Once a week, once a week on Thursdays. Uh, once a week on Thursdays, the devotees take a trip and have a glimpse at the Lord's feet, and to avert their worldly fears, we do Aarti. The only wealth that I desire is to serve at your feet. O Lord of Lords, we do Aarti. Just as the Chatak bird desires to drink the pure water, we do Aarti. Just as the Chatak bird desires to Just as the Chatak bird desires to drink pure water, we do the Aarti. So give Madhava knowledge directly, directly, O Lord, and kindly give me your assurance. Your assurance, we do Aarti. आरती साई बाबा सौख्यदाता जीवा शरणार जतारी द्यावा दासा विसावा भक्ता विसावा आरती साई बाबा चालुनी आनंद सत्स्वरूपे रायनंद मोक्ष जनतावे निज डोला श्रीरंग डोला श्रीरंग आरती साई बाबा जय मनी जैसा भाव वाचेन मर्यादा हरे संस्मृति व्याता अगाध तव करणे मददाविषयनादा दाविषयनादा आरती साई बाबा कलियुगी अवतार सगुण पर ब्रह्म साकार अवतीर्ण दयाला से स्वामी दत्ता दिगंबर दत्ता दिगंबर आरती साई बाबा आठा दिवसा गुरुवारी भक्त करी तिवारी प्रभु पद पहामाया भव भय निवारे भय निवारे आरती साई बाबा माझी तदव्य देवा बाबा चरण राज सेवा मांगणी निजे आता तुम्हा देवादी देवा देवादी देवा आरती साई बाबा इच्छित दीन चातक निर्मल तोय निज सूत पाजावे माधवाया संभला बोली बाग आबोली बाग आरती साई बाबा. The Gosavi said to Baba, I have altogether 2 rupees with me. How will I reach Jamner with only this amount? Baba said, go without any care. Everything will be arranged for you. Having full faith in Sai's words, the Gosavi set out. Taking these instructions from Baba and obeying his orders, Bapugir left for the assigned work immediately. After taking Udi as prasad, during those days there was no railroad to Jamner as it is now, and it is not easy to make the journey, so that Gosavi was worried. Setting out for the train, the passengers had an alight at Jagalgaon, from where they had to go on foot the rest of the distance. After paying the train fare of rupees 1 and 14 annas, there remained only 2 annas. How could he go further? These were the thoughts causing Gosavi's worry at Jagalgaon station. When he came out after handing over the ticket, he saw a peon at some distance. The peon seemed to be in search of someone. He approached the passengers and asked, tell me, who is Bapu Gir from Shirdi? Knowing that the peon's enquiry was only meant for him, the Gosavi came forward and said, yes, I am the person. Tell me, what do you want? He said, Chandolkar has sent me for you. Come quickly into the Tonga. He is waiting for you. The boy was greatly pleased and felt that a message must have reached Nana from Shirdi to enable him to send a Tonga on time, which saved him a lot of trouble. The peon, who looked very smart with a beard, twirled moustache, and side burns, wearing a livery. The Tonga also looked well maintained. The horses matched the Tonga. They were certainly not hired out animals. Leaving other Tongas behind, they moved ahead due to their eagerness. The Tonga had started the journey at 2:48 a.m. and was halted at a turn near a stream on the way. Then the Tongawala unharnessed the horses to water them and said, I will come back soon, after which we will have refreshments at leisure. I will fetch a little water and then we will eat mangoes and pedas and gul papdi. And then, after reharnessing the horses, we will leave. From this beard and dress, he looked a Muslim. Hearing his words, Ramgir had his doubts about accepting the refreshments from him. Therefore, he asked him about his caste. He said, have you doubts about me? I'm a Hindu from Gharwal and a Kshatriya. I am a Rajput by caste. These refreshments have also been sent by Nana for you with me. Certainly have not the slightest of doubts. Eat them free of worry. When his doubts were thus removed, they both had the refreshments. The Tongawala harnessed the horses, and the journey came to an end at sunrise. As they entered the village, Nana's office became visible. The horses stopped for a moment. Ramgir felt happy. The Bua looked for a secluded place in which to relieve himself. When he returned, he was surprised by sight. No Tonga, no horses, no Tongawala could be seen. No one was to be seen at that moment. The place was deserted. Ramgir wondered, what is this marvel? After bringing me so far, where has he gone in such a short time? As he was eager to meet Nana, the boy went inside the office. When he learned that Nana was at his residence, he decided to go there. Bua inquired the way along the road and easily found Nana's home. He reached there and sat on the veranda and called Nana in. They met each other. He took out the Udi and Arti, placed them before Nana, and told him the whole story. It was a marvel that when the Udi came, Nana's daughter was suffering intensely due to the obstruction of delivery. To ward off this difficulty, the Navachandi Havan and Saptashasti recitation was in progress. The Gosavi was surprised. Nana then felt as a hungry person feels when a platter of delicacies is placed before him, or as a thirsty chakor feels when he gets nectar in his mouth. Nana called his wife, gave him the udi to administer to the daughter with water, and he himself began singing the arti. Within moments, a message was received from the inner quarters that the girl was better. As soon as the cup of udi was put into the lips, she was freed from pain immediately and had a safe delivery. The crisis passed away happily. Everybody's worries were over. Then Ramgir asked Nana, where did the Tongawala go? I could not find him. Where is the Tonga that you sent? Nana replied, I did not send. I did not know of what Tonga you are speaking of. Who knew that you were coming? Why should I send the Tonga? Then Bua told the story of the Tonga from the beginning to the end. Nana was surprised, thinking about Baba's loving concern for his devotees and his own children. What Tonga, which peon, the Sai Moli is the Lord of the universe, performing various and wonderful feats. At the time of difficulty, he comes running to the devotees because of the intensity of devotion. So be it. Let us go ahead with the story indicated earlier. After some time, Baba himself took Mahasamadhi on Vijayadashmi, the festival of Dasara, in the year 1918. Baba considered it an auspicious day and chose to leave his body on that day. Then later, the Samadhi was built. Before that, Baba was in body. Narayan Rao had darshan twice. Now 3 years had passed since the Samadhi. Though he had earnest desire to take darshan, he could not get proper opportunity, whereby he was distressed. Once 1 year after the Samadhi, Narayan Rao was distressed by illness. After medications were tried, there was no avail. Though he was tormented by illness, he meditated daily and night upon Baba. How could there be death for a Guru Raya? He gave darshan to Narayana. On the night he had a dream that Sai was coming from a cellar. He came near Narayan Rao and assured him, do not worry, you will be better tomorrow. At the end of 1 week, you will be able to sit up on your own. So be it. 8 days passed. Every word proved to be true. Narayan Rao was able to sit up and his heart was filled with emotions. After some time, Narayan Rao came to Shirdi for darshan of Samadhi, where he narrated this experience. Can he be called living only when he was in his body? How can it be said that he is dead when he has taken Samadhi? Sai transcends life and death, pervading the entire universe. Just as fire is inherent in the firewood, not visible, in which ignites when rubbed, that this Sai is for his devotees. Once, when one sees him with love, then he becomes a slave for the rest of the life. He is hungry only for singular love and response to the call of one such person. No special place or time is needed for him to be present. He is forever everywhere. How and what means he uses is beyond anyone's comprehension. Sometimes he creates a situation filled with unreasonable doubts. At that time, you concentrate on his feet and to meditate. If the mind concentrates this way, then one can achieve deep meditation on Sai. This is what Sai gets done, and it is achieved without obstacles. It is not necessary to refrain from routine activities. All desires will disappear on its own. If the mind is thus trained, all the work will be accomplished without efforts, since the body has come to this earth where it is the theater of action. One will have to engage in actions inevitably. Then why not amass enough of wealth and property and have a wife and progeny? Whatever happens, let it happen to the fullest. Let us deeply desire only meditation on the Satguru. Doubts and delusions will be destroyed. The predestined difficulties will be warded off. Considering the devotion of devotees, considering the devotion of devotees, how Sai, eminent for genius, learning valor, gives the devotees variety of experiences and increases their grandeur of devotion. He adopts any mode of dress, manifests anywhere at his will, and wards off the difficulties of the devotees. All that is required is the disciple should be devoted. Please listen with reverence to another story which is similar in bearing. Hear how the saints toiled day and night for the sake of the devotees. Open the doors of your ears and unlock the temple of your heart. And let this story touch the very core of your being. It will drive away fears of mundane existence. In the past year, for the well known war with the Germans, an army was needed to be amassed to fight against the enemy. The British officers posted in India was recruiting persons from all cities and quarters. A devotee's turn to be recruited came in 1917 from Thane district. The story took a new turn. The devotee recruited came in 1917. His name was Appa Sahib Kulkarni. He was devoted to Sai. This was also Sai's grace. His leelas are unfathomable. Many years back, he had obtained a picture of Baba and Bapu Sahib Bate, which he worshipped. With his whole heart, he regularly worshipped the picture with sandalwood paste, concentrated rice, flowers, and offered naivedya. Appa's heart ached for an opportunity for Sai's darshan in person. When will I be free of the ties of karma? When will my heart's desire be fulfilled? The darshan of Sai Baba's picture in itself is darshan of a person. There should be total devotion, and you will get proof in time. Taking darshan of the picture was equivalent to taking darshan of a person. Listeners should hear with reverence and the description to an extent. Once Balabua Sutar, a bhajan singer, resident of Bombay, known as modern Tukaram, went to Shirdi for a darshan. This was his first meeting. He had never met him before, but the moment he saw one another, Sai said this clearly to him. I have known him since the last 4 years. Balabua was surprised. And what makes him say so? Baba has never left Shirdi. I too have laid my hands on this place for the first time. Then how is it that he has known me since the last 4 years? Thinking thus repeatedly, he recollected an incident which happened 4 years ago. Bua remembered going to Baba's picture once. Then Balabua immediately understood the significance of the words and said, how all pervading and are the saints and their love and affection for the devotees. I had just bored down to a picture. I saw him in person today, whereas I forgot this long time back. Baba kept this in mind. It is not correct to say that I had forgotten, but I did not immediately understand the meaning of his words. I did not have the capacity to know that this was the fruit of my obsessions to the picture. Baba knew me, but I had no idea that he remembered me. It is said it is only when the saints remind one that one realizes. One can see the reflection of a sun, moon, and a clean mirror or clear water. A picture is also a pure reflection of a personage, by which splendor it can be cast upon persons serving subordinately. Therefore, the darshan of a saint's picture is equivalent to the darshan in person. The all-knowing attribute of saints is a lesson learned by all from this. Enough. The listeners must listen attentively. Hear the earlier story now. Bear in mind the previous reference. Appa lived in Thane town. He had worked in Bhiwandi. He left his home saying that he would return after 8 days. Only 2 days had passed when something unusual happened in his house. A fakir came at the door of his Thane residence. Everyone who saw him clearly felt that it was Sai himself. He was exactly like the picture from head to toe, and the figure tallied completely. His wife and children stared at the fakir, and everybody was surprised. They felt Baba himself had come. Though no one had a darshan in person earlier, from the resemblance to the picture, they knew that it was Baba. Their curiosity aroused. All of them asked the fakir, "Are you the same Sai of Shirdi?" Listeners should hear with attention what the fakir replied. In reality, I am not Sai myself, but I am his obedient servant. I have come here to inquire about the health of your children by his orders. Later, when he asked for Dakshina, the children's mother respected his words and immediately gave him 1 rupee. He too gave her Udi. He gave Sai Baba's Vibhuti, a small packet, to the lady and said, "Keep this, keep it near that picture. It will bring you happiness." Completing his mission, thus the fakir took leave with words, "Sai must be waiting for me," and he set off in this way. Then he took the way by which he had come. Then see what happened there. Sai's Leela is inconceivable. Appar Sahib, who had left for Bhiwandi, instead of going further, returned as the horse of the Tonga became sick. His onward journey had been cancelled. He returned to Thane in the afternoon and learned all that transpired. Appa Sahib regretted that he missed the darshan. He felt ashamed that only 1 rupee was given as dakshina. If I had been there, I would not have given him less than 10 rupees before he was sent back. Thus said Appa Sahib. He felt dejected and sad. He believed that he would be able to find the fakir in the masjid. So he left in search for him without eating anything. Appa searched in all places, such as the masjid, takia, and all such places where travelers stay, for the fakir. Though he got exhausted searching, he did not trace the fakir anywhere. Being disappointed and hungry, he went home and had his meal. But he did not know that one should not set out on search of anyone in empty stomach. It is necessary to satisfy one's atma and then carry on the search. Baba's story of this purport will show the truth of this principle. Why should it be repeated here? The listeners know that chapter well. In the previous chapter, named Guru's Greatness, a wonderful story had been narrated about Shri Sai as his own Guru's words very tenderly. The same truth was experienced by Appa after lunch. He went with his friend Chitre for a casual walk. Enough. After walking a little distance, he saw a gentleman approaching him very speedily till the spot, and as if he was desirous of finding him. When he came and stood near Appa Sahib, he unobtrusively but carefully looked at him and thought that he must be the same person who had come in the morning. I feel that this person is the same fakir who I was searching earlier. He resembles the picture from top to toe. I am confused. When Appa was debating this within himself, the fakir extended his hand and Appa placed 1 rupee in hand at that time. He asked for more and he gave him one more till he had given him three. Yet the fakir asked for more. The real marvel is ahead. They had 3 rupees, which Appa borrowed and gave that to the fakir. Yet he asked for more. Appa Sahib told him, I will give you more if you come home. The fakir agreed, and all the three returned home. Immediately on reaching home, he took out and placed three more in his hand, totaling 9 rupees. Yet the fakir was not satisfied. When asking for further dakshina, Appa Sahib truthfully told him that he now had only one 10 rupee note left with him. All the change was finished and there was nothing left. The fakir said, why did you not give the note? As Appa did that too. As soon as the note came into his hands, he returned the change of 9 rupees and the fakir left the same way he had come, walking with great speed. When one considers the essence of the story, Sai fulfills the wish of the devotee as expressed. This was his creed. Considering the enthusiasm of the listeners, I am reminded of another story having the same purport at the opportune time. Listen to it with great respect. There is a loving devotee named Haribhau Karnik, resident of Dahu. He was a singular devotee of Sai. In the year 1917, as it was the most holy day of Guru Purnima, he came for a pilgrimage to Shirdi. I will tell you a short story about him. He did worship according to rituals and offered dakshina. When he took permission to leave and came down the steps, he had thought he felt like going up and giving Baba one more rupee. But he had to give up the idea and keep that 1 rupee without offering it. The same gentleman who had got for him the permission to leave, he himself gave that sign from up above, and that once the permission was granted, one should depart immediately. Having faith in this indication, Karnik left on his way. He got on at Nasik with his friend on the way. When Karnik went for darshan to the temple of Kalaram, he had unexpected darshan of the Saint Narsingh Maharaj. Maharaj was sitting around the devotees, but he suddenly got held Karnik by the wrist and said, give me my rupee. Karnik was surprised and joyfully handed that rupee. He felt that it was Sai himself, knowing that his desire was accepting the rupee. It is not true to say that Sai accepted it. Though Karnik had forgotten it, he held his hand and by force took it. This was the real truth. Hallucination is the characteristic of the mind. Waves after waves rise. Initially, one thinks of something, but a later stage, some other thought occurs. The wave of thought which arises initially, provided it is good and virtuous, should be nurtured. This would be beneficial. Bear in mind, study it carefully and meditate upon it. Do not forget it and make effort and keep your word. Appa Sahib had spoken of it, but later may have forgotten. But as he had spoken of it, Baba fulfilled his desire and showed the marvel of devotion. Otherwise, why did the fakir, who had 19 rupees with him, including the 10 rupees note, give Appa 9 rupees only? It was because of Appa's intense desire to give 10 rupees only. This was the necklace of 9 coins which had been touched by Baba's hands, indicating the 9 types of devotion. This was a way Baba reminded him of it. When you listen to the story of Baba leaving his mortal coil, you will realize the novel way of doing charity. As he had given 9 rupees at that time, his wife had given only 1 rupee wholeheartedly, which had been accepted with great satisfaction, and the fakir had not asked for more. But Appa felt that 1 rupee given to his wife was too little, and he had been there, he would have given 10 times much more to the fakir. In this way, Appa, who had become bound by his own words by saying that he would have given 10 rupees, how would he have been free from debt until he has given the full amount as per his words? This fakir was not like others. Was he a beggar that he would accept whatever was placed in his hand and go back? The day had not ended, and he came back on the same day that Appa had spoken. Appa had his doubts and that he might be unknown fakir. Initially, when he was asked for the money, he had 6 rupees with him, and he did not part with that amount because of his doubts. Enough. If you did not have love for Appa, would Baba have come in the guise of a fakir? If he had not made the pretext of Dakshina, how would this story have been interesting? Appa Sahib was only an instrument, but at the time of doing charity was full of doubts. We are torn by hallucination and rarely have certainty. But the rarest is the beloved Son of God who speaks little and well. He acts and he speaks as he does and what he promises. If there be a devotee with singular faith, whatever he wishes, worldly or spiritual, Sai has the power to fulfill them. Although Appal Sahib was intelligent and a scholar in English, he was initially given only rupees 40 as salary by the government. But since receiving the picture, his salary slowly increased and became many times more than 40. It was the immediate experience of all the people that Baba gave 10 times more as he received, 10 times the power and position. Besides love towards spiritual increases on account of faith and devotion. Isn't this something unusual? Baba's skill is wonderful. Later, Appa Sahib asked for the vibhuti and the fakir had given it. When he looked it with was a small packet which he opened with love. When the udi with the udi, there were flowers and concentrated rice, which he found in the packet. He had an amulet made and wore it on his arm with great reverence. Later on, he took Baba's darshan. The hair which Baba gave to him personally was also placed in the amulet most lovingly. How great is Baba's udi! Ashes are also an ornament of Shankar. He who applies it on the forehead with devotion will find all difficulties removed immediately. He who, after his ablutions and bath, applies Udi regularly and drinks the teeth of the washing of Baba's feet will be purified and benefited. Besides, the real importance of this Udi is that he who takes it will have a full life and sins will be completely destroyed. He will enjoy bliss and contentment always. Such is a sweet feast of the nectar of stories had been arranged by Sai because of Appa. We are the uninvited guests there, but let us fully enjoy them together with him. The host and the guest both have the same feast. There is no difference in taste and sweetness. Be satisfied on partaking the blissful food. Hema surrenders to Shri Sai. Enough of listening to this for the present. In the next chapter, there will be narration of greater importance of Udi, how the application of Udi and Sai's darshan cured tuberculosis, guinea worms, and bubonic plague. Listen to it with attention. May there be well being. This is the end of the 33rd chapter of the Shri Sai Satcharithra, written by the devotee Hemat Pant, impelled by saints and virtuous people, called The Power of Udi. This is offered at Shri Satguru Sainath. May there be auspiciousness. Now let us do the arti. Shri Sachidananda Satguru Sainath Maharaj ki jai. आरती साई बाबा सौख्यदातार जीवा शरणारज दाली द्यावा दासा विसावा भक्ता विसावा आरती साई बाबा कालुनी आनंदम सत्स्वरूपी राय गंगा मोक्ष जन दावे निज डोला श्रीरंग डोला श्रीरंग मचे नाम ध्याता हरे संस्कृति व्याता अगाध तव करणे मार्ग दाविसियानाथा दाविसियानाथा आरती साई बाबा कलियुगी अवतार संगुण पर ब्रह्म सागर अवतीर्ण ज्ञाना से स्वामी दत्तादिगंबर दत्तादिगंबर आरती साई बाबा आठ दिवस गुरुवागे करी दीवारे प्रभु पद पावाया भव भय निवारे भय निवारे आरती साई बाबा माझा निजात देवा तव चरण रज सेवा मांगणे जयाता तुम्हा देवादि देवा देवादि देवा आरती साई बाबा इच्छिता दीन चातक निर्मल तोय निज सुख पासावे मात बाया संभला फुली बागा आपुली बागा आरती साई बाबा सौख्य दातार जीवा शरणार जताई द्यावा दासा विसावा भक्ता विसावा आरती साई बाबा शिर्डी माझे पंढरपूर साई बाबा रमावर बाबा रमावर साई बाबा रमावर शुद्ध भक्ती चंद्रभागा भाव पुंडली कंसागा पुंडली कंसागा भाव पुंडली कंसागा याव याव अवघे जन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन साई श्रीवंदन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन बनो बने बाबा साई पाव पाव माझे आई पाव माझे आई पाव पाव माझे आई बनेलु तांगन बने गचरण लोयार्ती पायन रूप तुझे प्रेमीन रंगीन अनंत पूजिम भवेव इन बने नमा त्वमेव माता पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धु सदा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या दैरङ्गमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव मयेनु माचापसन्नियर्म मुद्यातना वापतन स्वभाव करोमि अत्यं सत्तरस्मै नारायणाय समर्पयामि अच्युतं केशवं राम नाम नारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरे ईदवं माधवं गोपिका विलवं जानकी नायकं रामचन्द्रं हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे श्री गुरुदेव दत्त सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. Om Sai Ram. I urge all the listeners to read one chapter of the Sai Satcharithra daily and soak in Baba bliss. Baba bless you. Om Sai Ram.